Hello everyone, and we are back for the top 8 of the Swiss Magic Masters Modern Trial here in Bern. Well, we have the top 8. The first place was Christian Rothen with his Temur Scapeshift. Second place, Hannes Mouth with Phoenix. Third place, we have Thomas Loris de Uria. On fourth place, Pablo Rossi with his human stack. On fifth place, Yves Mattis. On the sixth place, Andreas Waber. On the seventh place, Daniel Farney. And on the eighth place, we have Dario Waber. Dario Waber here playing together with Chris in this feature match area for the top 8. So, the number 1 player from the Swiss 6 rounds is Chris Rothen, and on the 8th place was Dario Waber. So, actually, very interesting. We're hyped to see you play. We know already that on the left side we have Chris playing Temur Scapeshift that you already saw in a match before, or some matches before, and on the right side it's Dario Waber. So I'm back again to continue with you, Reto. Yeah, Chris with a very good start. Search for tomorrow, first round, that's what you want with Scapeshift. But also the best start from Dario, Aether Vial. It's a huge tempo swing for him. He can play many creatures. Free.
I think both players really have a good start now in this top 8 with some nice 1-drops to play. There's While ticking up to 1 and waiting for land number 2. So we get the deck list here.
But Chris has quite a bad hand, a lot of lands. He's gonna need a Scapeshift soon if he wants to win. Nice trick from Dario. I haven't seen his hand, but if he has a Meddling Mage, he can say search for tomorrow with Meddling Mage, and search for tomorrow would stay exiled forever, because when removing the last counter, Chris is would be unable to play it. Let's see if that's what Dario can do. Yes, he has a Meddling Mage in hand. If I was in his place, I would do that. But
there is Meddling Mage. So
yes, exactly. No, as I said, he probably named Search for Tomorrow to prevent Chris from casting in next turn. But Chris has a remand. It was last non-land card in his hand. A very good one in this spot. He needs some action. Couldn't see, but he just drew.
So we have a question from Asatas one in our commentary. No, unfortunately there's no jump in the top 8, which is very sad, but this is how Modern is at the moment. It's a hard time for mid-range players.
Searching for the basic land which was offered and draw for a turn,
which is a Snapcaster,
I guess. He can Snapcaster remand, hoping to draw something else. Oh, and he has a Jace in hand.
Daniel 4 and Jace is here. He's going for Brainstorm.
Chris really has almost the best draw possible. Search for Tomorrow into Remand, into Jace on the play. It's really hard to beat. But if Dario has a 1-drop, he might be able to kill the Jace this turn. He's gonna need a Talia's Lieutenant or 2. Or a Mantis Rider.
Able to play something for 3 mana, to while in something for 2 mana.
Yeah, his goal is really to remove the Jace from the battlefield. He doesn't want to give a second free Brainstorm to Chris. I can see if you see his hand a little better. Yeah, he has 1 Talia's Lieutenant and Phantasmal Image, so he's able to kill the Jace, and that's what I would do in his space.
Here comes Lieutenant.
And yeah, he can do the little trick to vial in
in response to the trigger, so that both lieutenants get the +1/+1 counters.
Wow. And he gets
So
a
they're gonna
very
be
low hierarchy at this point. They can attack for free. With his exalted trigger.
So they're both gonna be both Talus lieutenants gonna be 3/3.
And the swing chase down.
Exactly.
What a nice play, what an aggressive play as well. There's so much power on the board for our huge player here. There's another gemstone mine.
It's a funny inclusion. It's the first time I see gemstone mine in a human's deck. It's probably to have access to more colors, especially post board. Yeah, and he has one. Dario has one deputy of detention main. He wants to be able to cast it more reliably. So yeah, now Chris's turn.
So you can see the bottom cards on the board of Dario Waber. I don't know what it is exactly.
It's a fantastic image. Yeah, copying the Talus lieutenant.
Again? I mean, there is one and there is one below as well.
Yeah, and there are two of them.
Two of them?
Like one Talus lieutenant and one phantasmal image.
There's another search for tomorrow for our Temur Scapeshift player Chris.
He's now almost to 8 lands. That's what he needs to win with the Scapeshift card. Dario is still at 20, so as you probably know, when you Scapeshift with only 7 lands, you can only deal 18 damage. It's going to be so Chris is going to need an 8th land, or to use the lightning bolt in his hand to deal 3 damage to Dario. But right now he probably wants to use the lightning bolt to remove Talus lieutenant to prevent the cold of damage.
So there's a turn for Dario Waber on tap draw. And what do we find? How can we put more pressure on this board?
I mean, a Mantis Rider would be nice, another Phantasmal image copying Talus lieutenant. Yeah, some good plays. Or he can recast his meddling mage and maybe name Scapeshift to prevent any possible win next turn from Chris.
Anna, you already thought about casting meddling mage? First, yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice play as well, but it's just getting remanded. But Dario has more mana. He can play it with the Noble Hierarch and violin another human to really put the pressure on Chris.
So white is also on 2.
Yeah, he probably Dario probably doesn't have any 3-drop in his hand, so he kept vial on 2 to be able to flash in another creature. Here's your response from the vial activation with a lightning bolt. It's to avoid the situation where Dario can just put a meddling mage in his hand without Chris being able to respond. So yeah, you have to tap to respond when the player taps the vial and not wait until the creature comes into play, because with a meddling mage, for example, it's too late. Yeah, we now have a 5/5 Talus lieutenant. It's quite big already.
It's a big boy. It's also get exalted, or you can also attack with the Noble Hierarch if needed. Sorry, looking at the board in Chris, the Baltic Chris' graveyard. A little bit fearing that.
What should do is just attack with the Talus lieutenant and then play the meddling mage he has in his hand to name Snapcaster Mage and really prevents Chris playing anything next turn. I'm just hoping that he's not top decking Scapeshift or any big spell.
So it gets bigger. That would be very interesting for us to know what kind of cards did he name. Well,
here's the attack, as you predicted, Adrian. He named either Scapeshift to prevent Chris's combo, or just Snapcaster Mage to blank out his hand, because the Snapcaster Mage is another blocker and can flash back a lightning bolt to deal with another creature. So, Chris actually drew Scapeshift.
Really?
Big draw.
Also some lines in hand. Yeah, Scapeshift.
Is it not ranked? So he named
Scapeshift, I guess. With his meddling mage. So not
maybe it's still hard to tell.
So big untap step ready for the swing. What will he find? He finds a rising canopy.
It's immediately draws an all card. That's one of the bigger advantages of human is with Horizon Canopy you have less dead draws. You can just cycle it, and that's really nice to do.
There is another human entering the battlefield.
So Chris is at 8. Dario probably has enough damage for lethal.
Not yet. And here's the full swing. Coming down Snapcaster.
Oh, he didn't name Snapcaster with a meddling mage. I think that's quite maybe not the best play, because now he can just Snapcaster and bolt the meddling mage.
Oh, and then he's free next turn to continue with his Scapeshift plan. There's another fantastic image coming down for Dario.
Yeah, the choice is either you copy Tireless Lieutenant to boost your whole team, or Meddling Mage to name Scapeshift again. And I think he chose to name to copy Meddling Mage probably. And let's see if it's gonna be enough. I think, yeah, Chris can now just block Tireless Lieutenant, bolt the Meddling Mage, or no, he probably named the right stuff and then won, and just won.
So 0-1 for Dario Waber with his 5-colored humans. What a nice match, what a nice game, really well done. And we are looking to our sideboard action.
I'm just gonna remove the reflection on the cards and do something. I'm right back.
So let's have a look at the sideboard options. So we have on Dario, on the winner of the first game side, we have 3 Orient Champion, 3 Chalice of the Void, 2 Damping Sphere, 2 Deputy of Detention, the human as well, 2 Dismember, 1 Gadok T, which is a huge card, against the Scapeshift plan, and we have 1 Campbell Consul Allocation and 1 Whirler Rogue. Well, maybe the Gadok T is, of course, I guess, should be going. Deputy of Detention, maybe, but he doesn't really need to remove something because he's playing. Or maybe, but he doesn't know that Chris has on his sideboard the other plan, which has 4 Madcap Experiment and 2 Platinum Imperium. So he really can change his game plan, going to another deck strategy, which is huge, which won the last game here in the feature match area. What do you think about the sideboard of Chris? What could be interesting to board him against humans?
I think from Chris' side it's quite easy. You bring in the Anger of the Gods and the Madcap Experiments and the Platinum Imperium. That's easy. The bigger question is how well Dario will be prepared for it, and he's gonna need to have some answers, because otherwise, he's not gonna be able to do anything. And so the big question is Reflector Mage. As Dario, as the human player, do you leave the Reflector Mages in to be able to bounce this Imperium when it comes into play? Or do you side them out to be able to bring things like Gadoktik or Kambal or really strong strong cards against Chris?
The Deputy of Detention could be really sweet against Platinum Imperium, but he does not know that Chris has this
No, he knows,
card
he knows. They have the deck lists normally.
from each other.
Yeah, they saw each other's deck lists, so should be pretty straightforward. I think Chris is being on the play. He can keep the remands, but I'm not sure he's going to do it. Maybe he just wants some speed. Remand is so good when you're on the play and you can remand on turn 2, but against human with 4 Aether Vials and 4 Caverns of Souls, it might be hard to pull off.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, I'm really excited to see if it really works out, if he really brings in this sideboard plan with Latino.
Oh, he's going to do that. I mean, there's no question about it. He improves his matchup by quite a lot.
The question is more what he is he taking out. I think one Jace will be sided out, maybe a couple of Pierce through depth. Might be a bit slow. Cryptic commands might be also he might cut some of them. And yeah, looking at the deck list, probably the remands. Even if, as I told, it's a good turn to play, but it's maybe not good enough for this matchup.
At least it can give you some time, the remand, but I mean, it's very
Yeah.
hard against this aggressive deck, playing Eat While as
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
so it doesn't get so easy to use this card very correctly. So, but let's see, players are shuffling, players seem to be ready soon, and we will have a look at this second match. Let's focus on the feature match area, and there's more action to come.
So, both players drawing 7 cards. Chris has a Pierce through depths in his hand, so he didn't sideboard them out. What else does he have? Oh, lightning bolts. That's good against humans. He's gonna, and a couple of lands. He's gonna probably keep this one. But did Dario choose to mulligan? No, they both keep. It's a good start for both of them. Oh, we can see Dario already has the perfect combo. Caverns of Souls naming human and Aether Rail. So yeah, Chris's counter spells are no use anymore.
What a start for a Yumo player with Eat While and with Cavern of Souls.
So we see Dario has a couple of options. He has Meddling Mage, Taya's Lieutenant, and I cannot quite see the other cards here. Yeah, he's gonna go with probably the Talia, and it's gonna be a bit taxing for Chris, needing to pay one more to cast his spells. He's probably gonna just lightning bolt this Talia next turn, or just try to play around it and pay one more mana each time he wants to cast a spell. So Chris sacking Sakura at the end of turn.
Already ramping.
He needs the
4
mana.
in his third turn afterwards.
Here you see how scary the human deck can be, because he has now a Vial, a 2/2 body, a Talia who's a pain in the ass for Chris, and you know that next turn he can go with Meddling Mage naming something plus Talia's Lieutenant to boost the team, so that's quite an impressive board. we see Chris with two lightning bolts and in hand, as well as a madcap experiment. So
Oh, he
has,
already has it in hand.
yeah, he has one in hand.
Ooh.
And a peer through depth. So it's really a good hand for Chris. He's gonna be able to bolt the Talia at the end of the turn and just cast madcap experiments without Dario having an answer for that.
So on the right side, meddling mage.
If he's really afraid of this madcap experiment, he can name it with his meddling mage.
Oh yeah. So there's the bolt.
Yeah, in response of to the meddling mage, just to prevent Dario naming lightning bolt with
Oh, phantasmal image.
yeah, phantasmal image copying the Talia, and so right now Dario still has his Talia to in play, kind of. So yeah, Dario played the meddling mage came into play. I just asked the players to write down what he named, so we're gonna see right now. You see the champion of the parish is growing. It's already a 3-3. Oh, he wrote it down, but
I cannot read it. Yeah, it's already growing. It gets bigger just with every threat that you can have, and well, I'm very excited to see if maybe this Platinum Imperium plan could win the game for Chris then afterwards, because what could be there? Reflected Mage, maybe, who could bounce back the Platinum Imperium?
yeah, that's
But
one of
does
the
he have
few.
another out from that?
Deputy detention is a solution,
Oh yeah,
but
definitely.
I think I can read Dario writing Anger of the Gods, so he's really afraid of the sweeper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this choice because I mean he would lose Talia and the meddling mage if Chris had an anger, but the champion of the parish would survive.
And he's
So
not
that's
safe
already
for further combo.
yeah, exactly. If Chris can yeah just put Platinum Imperium in play, there's nothing Dario can really do. Chris now thinking about whether he should play the bolts now or maybe later. He's, as always, afraid of the human player just vialing in stuff in response to his bolt.
Mm. But what do you generally think about the matchup between Temur, Scapeshift and humans?
Generally, it's hard to tell. It's really, I think, 50-50. It depends on how you play the matchup, how each player is, how good each player is. And so yeah, really a lot of back and forth, and it's really hard to tell. And also in this game, I mean, if you name something else with meddling mage, the game looks totally different. It's yeah, it's skill intensive. But yeah, Chris is
Life.
now fetching, probably bolting the Talia at the end of turn to be able to play Pierce through depths and play a madcap experiment next turn. Now he's looking for some kind of protection against any
Here comes the
possible
bolt.
removal. Yeah, that's the bolt on Talia. So Dario has to sacrifice it because it's targeted.
And there's some more action to come.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Pierce through depths.
You can look at the top 5 cards. If events an instant or sorcery, you can take it into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of the library. Oh, and he finds another madcap, and he takes
No, he
the
takes
cryptic command.
I think that's a good choice. He takes the cryptic. Now next turn he's gonna play madcap. Just hope that it's fine. And oh, well, another meddling mage getting viled in from Dario. And I think he's gonna make the mistake of naming cryptic command instead of madcap experiment.
With this kind of information, which was very good, seems like it should be cryptic command. So Chris searching for another land. Maybe can go.
Yeah, cryptic command
with his. Yeah, he didn't find, didn't search another blue. So I think the
Yeah, it's
choice
cryptic
was
command.
cryptic. And yeah, maybe you can go now with his madcap experiment try. Well, let's see.
No, he's definitely gonna play that. And
Draw for a turn. Play a Misty Rainforest. Fetch for a Misty Rainforest.
you see that Chris has experience with his deck because if you have a Platinum Empyrean in play, you cannot fetch anymore because you cannot pay life because your life total
Yeah,
can't
definitely.
change. It's yeah, it's quite a subtle play that you don't make often, but when it happens, when you have a Empyrean in play and you want to fetch and your opponent tells you it's not possible, it's
And
it's
there
kind
it
of painful.
comes.
Yes, that's Madcap Experiment.
So now he's looking for the Paladin, which cannot make his life total change, and it's a big 8/8 threat on the board. Oh, he really has to find it. Digging deep the library. There's some madcap experiments. Oh, there it is.
So now the game becomes quite simple. Whoever is first, either Dario finding a solution for the Empyrean or Chris getting to 8 lands and casting Scapeshift. That's like the race they're in right now. That there's not a lot Chris can do because he cannot cast a Cryptic Command, he cannot cast Anger of the Gods to clear the board. So yeah, it's just a little race. So Dario has nothing.
So
We're
there
gonna
is
probably
no
see.
reflecting mage from Dario's side. There's the Valakut.
Yeah, that's the 7th land. It doesn't matter if it's Valakut or not.
Another eat wild for Dario, and he's passing the turn.
Does Chris have a Scapeshift in hand? I'm not sure.
I
Yeah, I
didn't
think it's
see.
a Scapeshift, yes.
Does he?
Yes, I think it's a Scapeshift. And yeah, an interesting play Chris might think about is just casting Scapeshift for 18 damage, clear the board, and be able to attack with his Platinum Empyrean.
Oh, this would be a huge swing then.
Yeah, but it's the either you do that or you just wait until you find your next land and you win on the spot.
Alright.
So that's
So really has to think what kind of line he will take now with the cards that remain in his hand.
yeah, it's tricky because if he tries to clean the board, then he's safe against the top deck from Dario next in the next turns. But he's gonna need more turns to win the game. That's not yeah, not an easy decision for him. Yeah, he
And
decided
here
to
it comes.
escape shift right now. So he's gonna go for 6 triggers of escape shift. No, less than that. Only 4. Okay,
What do you think about this idea, like having a modern deck such as Scapeshift, and then you really have a complete different sideboard plan?
I mean, it's not a complete different sideboard plan because you still want to cast a 4 mana sorcery, and if you cast it, you almost win the game, just like here with the Madcap Experiment. The thing is, Madcap Experiment and Platinum Empyrean is really good in some matchups and really bad in others.
Alright.
So that's why you don't want to play it main deck, but in some matchups, in this one for example, it's really good, so it's normal to see Chris having this sideboard option.
And with this Scapeshift trigger, Chris managed the board from Dario, and there's a draw.
Yeah, it's sad that Chris didn't search 2 more for mountains to put Dario on 6 life, and he would be dead right now. But I mean, he's got the game for himself almost. He has a cryptic command in hand. He can bounce
Yeah, looks
or
pretty
tap the
safe.
creatures. I think this should be it for Chris. He should win this one in probably next turn, or maybe in a couple of turns if Dario has some jump blockers.
Or maybe there will be another, or the first reflect the mage in the game.
Redraw.
He's cracking his land, searching for this mage. we are hyped to see if the Etherwile will be tapped or not for swinging in the Reflecting Mage. Oh, we have two
Attack
mana
for
creature.
lethal. Just here, jump blocking with Talia. Or maybe Chris wants to tap Talia to win. He decides to wait. I mean, at this point, there's almost nothing Dario can do to. Chris has a
Scapeshift number 2.
another Scapeshift just to get a couple of mountains and win the game.
So this is it. This should it be.
Yeah, we'll just get one mountain and the second Valakut, and that's or 2 mountains, and that's enough.
And that's it. That's game. So we are going in the third game with these two top 8 players with the number 1 and the number 8. So what an interesting matchup. I really like this to see. It's some interactive magic as well, and also dealing with board states from humans, and also trying to keep the combo player not going with his combo.
Yes, exactly. It's interactive and interesting as well. You see the decisions with Meddling Mage, for example, what card you name had a huge impact on the game. And as a player, you just stand here and try to read your opponents, try just like in poker, trying to tell if he has does he have a sweeper or a big card, and you have to somehow decide. And yeah. So we see Chris thinking about
his madcap experiment.
Yeah, maybe taking them out, because the idea is that Dario saw the madcap experience in the Platinum Empyrean. He's gonna be scared from this combo, so he's gonna probably put in back all the Reflector Mages and the Deputy of Detentions from his sideboard. And if Chris can remove all his creatures and all his permanents, those are almost dead cards for Dario on his side.
This would be very sneaky from Chris, but you never know. Yeah, could be very. I mean,
that's something you do a lot if you when you have a sideboard to transform the way you approach the game. You can really play mind tricks with your opponent, and if he's right, he has a chance to fight back, and if he's wrong, he just loses, and that's interesting.
That's what things are doing. So we are very hyped for this third game here in the quarterfinal of today's Swiss Magic Masters Modern Trial here in Bern, with the two contenders on the left, Temur Scapeshift, piloted by Christian Rothen, and on the right side, Dario Waber with his 5-color human stack. So both players are 1-1. The first game was in favor of Dario and the second one in favor of Christian, and we are excited to see.
Who do you like best for this last game, Dario or Chris?
Yeah, it would be very interesting. Well, let's see if he can assemble his combo early and quick enough, so Christian has a good chance to win this match. If Dario has a very explosive hand with so many humans entering the battlefield from Etherwile and cast from hand, there could be a lot of pressure on the board that could make life hard for Christian.
Yeah, the first question of this last game is going to be, does Dario have a light Aether Vial for tempo, and on the other side, does Chris have a Search for Tomorrow, also for acceleration?
As well.
It's like the two cards both players really want to see in their opening hands.
This actually really shows how fast the format has come. I mean, you have a really aggro deck on the right side. You have a combo deck that can fire off so quick enough on the left side. I mean, this is really huge speed both are playing, and there's a mulligan for Dario on the right side. Chris is keeping his hand.
Yeah, on the other side, Chris has 2 lands, a Search for Tomorrow, a Lightning Bolt, so very good hand. Also a Madcap Experiment, so he kept them in. I think he tried to mind trick Dario into thinking that he boarded them out while they're still in the deck. And that's interesting. I mean, you seem to.
He's also taking a mulligan.
He's taking a mulligan. I think I would have kept. If I saw correctly, there was a Stomping Ground and a Valakut. And for me, yeah, with Search for Tomorrow and the Lightning Bolt, I think it's a good enough hand. But
Yeah, so we have see both player going down to 6. And maybe some action soon.
and yeah, going down to 6 is I think better for Dario because Dario just has to put a couple of creatures and attack with them.
Mm.
On the other side, Chris really needs 7 or 8 lands to be able to combo off. It's a bit more painful for him to take mulligans.
Alright. But nevertheless, each of them has some nice prizes. Even the loser of this game takes home a Collective Brutality, an Inquisition of Kozilek from Modern Masters 17, and an Ultimate Master Booster Pack. And the winner, he can go ahead and go to the semi-final, where the 4 last contenders will try to win the 2 buys for the Swiss Magic Masters, which will take place on the 19th and the 20th October this year here in Bern. And we will have some action in various formats, and of course Modern will also be one of them.
So let's see the 6. Chris has a Anger of the God I saw, Snapcaster Mage and some lands, and a Pierce through depths as well. While Dario, I couldn't see his hand that good. I see a Talis Lieutenant, a Cavern of Souls, and nothing on turn 1. Oh, and a really good draw from Chris, a Lightning Bolt. So now he has to decide tapped or untapped land. And you might think it's a small decision. Does he lose 2 life or not? But it's not. It's really those games are really close, and they come down to a couple of life points. And if you choose to put
Champion
to
of
take
the
2 right
Parish
now,
on top
yeah,
for Dario.
on the other side, it's really a small pressure from Dario. It's a much slower start than last game.
Definitely. So what he's looking for? Maybe another Thalia? Seachrome Coast for Dario. Tapping out all 3 mana, and he's looking for maybe a Mantis Rider?
Yeah, that's usually a Mantis Rider just to put pressure.
There it is. So he can make a huge swing for 5 this turn if there is no answer by Chris.
And now
and there's the bolt.
That was the decision for Chris: either bolt it or just wait a turn and Anger of the God everything away. I think I like not doing anything and Anger of the God next turn more, but maybe Chris has some other plans.
Well, maybe he can also be just safe with his Anger of the Gods for later. Yeah, I think it's very difficult now, but both is okay to play.
Yeah, but I think like a 2-for-1 with Anger of the Gods is already good enough. And you also don't want Dario's creatures to go above 3 toughness. And if Dario now plays a Talis Lieutenant, the champion is going to 4 toughness. So, but let's see. I mean,
shake up again.
Yeah, but Chris still has Snapcaster Mage and Bolt in the graveyard. Snapcaster Mage in hand. I think Dario will play Talis Lieutenant, and Chris will just answer with a Snapcaster Bolt. No, he didn't draw a land. That's Chris's problem. Okay.
And there is swing for 4 already.
Yeah, so Chris missing his 3rd land drop was really bad for him. When he sees now 3 lands, 4 lands on top, 5 lands on top.
Wow,
he whiffed.
And he finds nothing. That's bad luck.
If he doesn't have a land now on top, I think it's almost over him.
Land.
Yeah, that's a land. That's good.
But already champion of the parish is too big for Anger of the Gods.
Yeah, Dario will play a human. Chris will bolt the Talis Lieutenant.
Does he still has Bolt in hand?
No, in the graveyard, but he can
with
flash it back with
I see.
Snapcaster Mage.
So it's really on the defense plan. Oh, there's a second Thalia's Lieutenant by Dario Waber. So he's really keeping the pressure high.
This is difficult for Chris. But what he will do is, oh no, if it's a second human from Dario, that's huge.
Phantasmal image.
Phantasmal image on the Thalia's Lieutenant. It's
And now it's time for Snapcaster action.
yeah,
And
but
bolting.
now Dario's creatures are so big that Anger of the God is probably too big to too small to kill two of them. Yeah, the champion of the parish is just too big right now.
So jump block, the option for Chris.
Chris will need cryptic commands to get rid of that champion, and he has 2 turns to do it, because otherwise he will lose to the attacks of the champion.
Alright.
Yeah, Chris at 13, that's not a lot of life. And the champion is now 8/8.
There has been so much removal already from Chris' side.
Yeah,
Like 2 bolts, 1 anger. That dealt with a lot of many of the threats. Oh, there's the third Thalia's Lieutenant.
oh,
For Dario, this play, this is a huge.
no, it doesn't make a big difference. I mean, Chris has to find an answer to the champion next turn anyway,
Oh.
and it's like it's almost cryptic command or bust right now. He has a Platinum Imperium in hand. That's
really the card you don't want to draw.
no.
If you go for this plan.
Yeah, he needed to top deck either a Cryptic to gain a turn or a Madcap Experiment to put the Imperium into play. But I think it's gonna be over for Chris this turn.
So small human champion of the Peerage becoming big and becoming a huge problem for Chris. And a good card for Dario, of course.
Oh, and Mantis Rider, yeah, that's
Mantis Rider from the top.
more than over. It's crazy if you think about it. Dario invested 1 mana in his Champion of the Parish, and it's a 10/10. A 1 mana
And
10/10.
there is the handshake.
That's it. As expected, Dario just attacks, and that's the win for Dario. Well played to him. He's going to the semifinals, and yeah, I'm happy for him. He's a good player, and
Yeah, congrats to Dario, he did this very well. And also congrats to Christian Rothen, who also came in the top 8 with as the first place, the number 1 content. So congratulations to both players, very well played. And we also see some more action maybe from Dario's 5-color humans in the semi-final.